My name is Adeni Adenuga. I attended Ijebode Grammar School here in Ijebode between 1999 to 2005. Before I went into the tertiary institution, I finished from the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, between 2006 to 2011. I graduated June 2011, and that was where I got inspired through the course I read, which is animal production and health, and through the inspiration I got from my parents. Before I graduated, I've always been a farm lover. I visit farms during breaks and during strikes to familiarize myself with the on-farm experiences. So as usual, after my graduation, I visited a fishery farm here in Ijebode also, and what I saw there, I was greatly inspired and encouraged. And I spent 3 months with no pay in that farm, working with all levels of activities they were doing in that farm. When I was ready to go for my NYSC, I sat my parents down and told them that I could do what this man has done in his farm if they could only support me. And after we were able to find a compromise in the family, and I was allowed to use the family land here in Isade to start up initially. So I started initially with these 4 ponds, 4 by 4 by 1 meter ponds in 2011 then. While I was also running my NYSC program in Ibadan, I did my service in Okeado High School in Ibadan between 2011 and 2012. And I shuttled between my NYSC service and here running the farm. And it got to a stage that I knew I had to expand the farm because of the outputs and the production, because of the output and the profit I could see from the initial startup I had. So I approached the Church Cooperative Society, and I was able to secure some loan at a very minimal interest rate since it was a Church Cooperative Society. So I expanded to the additional 10 ponds that you see, which is in dimensions of 4 by 6 with 1.5 meter depth. It was so convenient for me with my house built from here and with the support from the parents. I was able to pay back the loan and also increase my production from about 3 tons to 30 tons. There are basically 2 types of fish farming that we call it intensive and extensive system of fish farming. Now the intensive system of fish farming is the one I am adopting here, and that involves the use of concrete pond. The extensive is the one that involves the use of excavated land, or those that are done by the riverside. They use the natural habitats to culture their fish. But here in Tepebo farms, we do the intensive system. We use concrete ponds for our fish production. The most common species of fish that is done commercially in Nigeria is the catfish, which is the Clarias gariepinus, and another species of catfish, which is the Heteropangus. Some farms commercially raise the tilapia and some farms commercially raise the shrimps. The basic requirement in starting up a fish farm is the source of water, because it's so important. The source of water is important in starting up a fish farm. You have to, and because the fish are going to spend all their life in the water. So irrespective of the size or the materials, whether concrete or plastics method that you want to use, you have to determine the source of water and whether it's going to be regular, because once you have shortage of water, you're going to have a problem. So one of the most important things to highlight is the source of water. Then we can talk about the fingerlings, your source of fingerlings. Your source of fingerlings has to be safe. You are sure that it's not those kind of fingerlings you procure and they won't grow. So you have to get them from a reputable breeder to get your fingerlings. Then you can now start talking. It's very important to make readily available the forms that will be required in feeding your fish, because it's going to be a continuous process from the introduction of fingerlings to the grow out, which could be in the range of 6 months. And you won't want a situation where you get stuck with no feed. So statistically, you would require about 200 naira to 300 naira to raise one fingerlings to about 1 kg to 1.2 kg live weight. Depending on the area, you sell 1.2 kg or 1 kg of fish for about 500 naira. It's important for the farmer to find the operational method that is going to suit him the most, whether it's going to be whether the intensive system or which is the use of concrete and all other equipment that involves, or the natural method, which is the excavated method, where your source of water is the lake or river. So it depends on your location and your availability of funds. So because each of it has its merits and demerits. Here in the intensive system, you control all factors, including security and feeding. You know what you are feeding the fish and every other factors. But talking about the excavated, you might not be able to control the security, and you only supplement what the fish eats. The fish also finds other sorts of particles or materials in the water which they can consume. So it depends. It's important for the farmer to find the operational method suitable for him or her. No, because water is involved, there is tendency for the work area to be slippery. So it's important for the farmer to be aware of the slipperiness of the ponds to avoid falling down. Then it involves water. A farmer whose health conditions doesn't allow him to being cold or to be wet at all times should be to do the precautions or prevent themselves from going into the pond or getting wet too often. For fish case is stress. You have to do all activities that are going to reduce stress. That is, most of the activities you have to do, you do it early in the morning and fast before the sun comes out, that can affect the fish in terms of stress. Then you avoid materials that can injure them from dropping into the pond, and you avoid external contamination, materials that are dirty or that are full of bacteria from getting in contact with the water, so as to avoid spread of disease in the water, which can easily affect all the fish and reduce your yield. Yes, presently the farm is focused only on aquaculture, but we have plans to expand into other farming, which is livestock. We recently procured 2 Kalahari breeds of goats here in the farm, and we are about to embark on a breeding project to upgrade our home West African dwarf with the Kalahari goats that we just procured. Here in Tepebo farms, we have been able to create a system in which we have a time of feeding by 9 in the morning, 9 a.m. in the morning and 4 p.m. in the evening. So, and we have a feeding point. There is a particular size of feed per pond, so it's important to allocate to know which feed is appropriate for the fish. So by this, you follow your system through to help improve your production. The water is a very important factor in the business, because that's why it's called aquaculture. Aqua is water. So you have to secure the source of water and its continuity. And that's why here we have 3 boreholes that is supplying us water, so that in case if one fails, we can fall back on the other 2. And our system, since it's intensive, the water gets dirty, and in days of 2 to 3 days intervals, we have needs to continuously change the water to improve the fish growth. If I'm going to cost the land, cost the ponds constructions and the boreholes, the tanks, the other facilities that we have, I'll put it about 10 million naira presently. At present, I was 22 years when I started the business. We supply most of the big hotels here in Tepebo. They have products. Then we have the middlemen that come to buy our fish and take it to various parts where they are needed. So we have quite a large number of clients that patronize us here. It's just a method of fish harvesting which requires you draining out the water and using the fish net to drag out the fish. There is just one process in harvesting fish which requires draining out the water and using the fish net to drag out the fish. Plastic containers or bowls that are used to transport the fish. So we make sure we don't overfill the containers. We put a worth of 25 kg of fish in one container, put a little water and add solvents like palm oil or groundnut oil to keep the water alive for them prior to them reaching their destination. The reason why we put palm oil or groundnut oil in the water is to reduce the surface tension of the water, thereby reducing the activities of the water in terms of increased temperature and making air also available for them when they are in the plastic bowl. Well, Igalo should opt for fish farming because it's now a business, and ownership is everything. When you start to own your business, no matter how small it is, there is a sense of ownership and there is a sense of control over the business and over your life. In Nigeria today, we obviously know that the white-collar jobs are not easily available and it's not for everyone anymore. So, for example, for a student that finished from a University of Agriculture and has the knowledge of agriculture, why not just go into agriculture when it's now a business, not just a developmental a sector anymore? It's a business. It's when you start small and you start your home business till you expand. So, and it's profitable now as far as you know what you are doing and you are equipped with the necessary skills and information. The most important are the fingerlings, the types of feeds in terms of sizes and dimensions, 0.2 millimeters up to 6 millimeters. Your brood stock, which is the parent stocks that give birth to your fingerlings, the plastics, drag nets, scoop nets that can be used to remove single fish from the pond, then the floating feeds, which are the imported feeds, then we have the local feeds, which are the sinking feeds. One of the challenges I faced when we started was funds. Initially, we had to squeeze out ourselves for funds. Then the other challenges that we have is land. Now, at this stage, we have exhausted all the land we have here, so we can't even expand more presently here. The other challenges that we have is market, middlemen in market. Sometimes they control the price of the fish than the farmers. Another challenges we have is the source of fingerlings or broodstock. There has been a lot of adulteration in the market, so access to quality fingerlings are low. Also access to quality feed, there are adulterations in the market too, which affects the production. When the feed is bad, it affects the growth of the fish. So adulterations in feed materials go a long way in affecting the production of the fish, and challenges like that, it reduces the productivity of the farm. Well, if support comes from the government in terms of funds, it goes a long way in our expansion plan, in terms of land, in terms of policy. It helps us to have access to more markets. When there are reduced importations of fish products into Nigeria, it allows for more markets and it allows for expansion of the farm. Right now I have 5 permanent staffs, and we employ other staffs when we have more activities to be done as contract staffs. Tepebo farms in 5 years, wow, we see ourselves expanding to about 5 hectares of land with bigger ponds of fish, other aspects of agriculture like livestock, crop productions, cassava, plantain. We see ourselves going big and contributing immensely to the agricultural products in Nigeria. My message to the youth like me, my friends, is that it's high time we start taking the destinies into our hands, and we can really start by what we have. You can look at yourself and identify what you have, the knowledge you have, the skills you have, the resources you have. Once that has been identified, then you can know where and what to start from. And once you start small, you shouldn't despise your little beginning. Once you start small, there is always room for expansion and getting to the top. A lot of people think there is no hope in Nigeria, but the future of Nigeria is in your hands. So until you start getting it right, until you believe there is hope, then Nigeria is hopeful. And I believe there is hope in Nigeria. We are the future of Nigeria. And it's high time we stand and rise to ourselves and start doing things with our own hands to secure that future, to make that future safe. There is hope in Nigeria. Rise Network is a network that I've been and that has impacted so much in my life. It has given me hope, it has given me the opportunity that I deserve. And if any Nigerian youth have not got in contact with Rise Network, you are missing out.